Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest cryptocurrency channel in all the interwebs. My name is TJ. I'll be your host today for another episode of Around the Blockchain. I'll be joined by our favorite personalities, characters, and people from all across the blockchain. We've got yours truly, Ben Armstrong from the BitBoy Crypto channel, Crypto WendyO from Crypto WendyO's channel. We've got Austin from Altcoin Daily, and Max, the Contrarian Dude, here to talk about the burning questions on your minds today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Dogecoin has been pumping like crazy. We've got an SNL appearance by Elon Musk this weekend. We've got other Chainlink. Can it hit $100? How important are oracles in the blockchain space? Do we see other competitors to Chainlink that could potentially come up and rival? Talk a little bit towards the end about some regulation and then a major announcement from the NFL that will probably shape a lot of the future of the crypto and blockchain space. So to get started, we'll kick it off with Ben. First question, do you think Chainlink can hit $100? Why or why not? Take it away.
Yeah, I definitely think that Chainlink can hit $100 during this bull run. I mean, I think that's a very low hanging fruit. I actually have like much higher prediction for Chainlink, which I think around the end of this year, I said it would be probably somewhere around $900. That was also when it was in the top 5 and we were projecting its market cap to be up there around that of you know, where Binance Coin is now. If you look at the crazy historic run that Binance Coin has been on, it's been absolutely nuts. It's actually shaping up to be where it's probably going to
Chainlink Oracle project that, decentralized Oracle project that has a lot of potential to, kind of rival Chainlink. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on any of those other ones too. Wendy, are there any of those you're looking at?
I'm actually really focused on Chainlink just because it's got so much hype, and taking a look, utilizing technical analysis, if you want it to hit $100, it's literally like a 98% move up to like $98, which lies the fib 2 area when we're talking about fib extensions. Fibs are great because you can kind of toss those on lazily on a chart and get some crucial support and resistance areas, but Link will definitely hit $100.
So do you think it'll hit much higher than $100, or do you have anything you're seeing on the charts, any other price targets?
I mean, the 3 fib area have it drawn. It's at about $143. And I'm looking, the chart is just really beautiful with the price action. It's like every time we get a little bit of a dip, we drop down to the EMA 100 on the daily. We didn't even graze it last dip we had around April 25th. But it's just pretty beautiful price action. And because there's so much hype, especially on, you'll see people talk about it on Twitter. I think it will continue to do well. I don't like to give crazy target prices. I like to kind of
think is probably not priced into Chainlink as of yet. Is I think which is just the things going on around it like Ethereum and Binance. Once Bitcoin gets into that space, the numbers for Chainlink could really explode. So I don't think it's going to be a challenge to get to over $200 during this bull market.
You need to be watching while we're on the show here.
We can hear you.
Somebody needs to be.
We can hear you. Sorry, we got everybody off Wi-Fi. We can hear you, by the way, Ben.
Everybody needs to be off Wi-Fi. Okay.
Perfect. I think we're good now. It seems to have stopped the lagging. Perfect. So you're from a little bit more of the traditional space, right, Max? Like a traditional investment space?
My banner is more of a macro guy, but got involved in Bitcoins in 2012, yeah.
And so are you familiar with kind of the traditional, like Oracle as a company or some of the other top Oracle projects that are used currently, that like the centralized Oracle solutions?
No, I'm not familiar with that world at all. No, sorry.
No, it's fine. The only reason I'm asking is one thing that's interesting to me is there are multiple data feeds that people use. Most of the time, it's not a winner take all with oracles. There's 2-3 solutions, so you can get data, especially when it's centralized, because you are forced to trust that one entity that their data is good. So I think there could be potential for Band or some of these other ones to rise up. But I'd be interested, Austin, what are your thoughts?
First off, I want to say to Ben, TJ, thank you for having me. Great channel. Great to be here with other great channels like Wendy, and Contrarian, who I'm just meeting today for the first time.
Thanks for
But
joining
for Chainlink, dude, absolutely. But for Chainlink, actually, Altcoin Daily, we did a video on January 1st, 2021, of the potential for the year for Chainlink. And that was when the bull market had just started. And what we're noticing as the bull market progresses is, one, projects are pumping less and less because of substance and more because of hype. And that's just where we are starting to get to in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency frenzy. The other big question I'm seeing from my end is not if Chainlink has a chance to 2 or 3x at least from where we are now, if Bitcoin can hit $200,000 this year, 250, more. It's that Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem narrative is going to do very well. And the question is, well, which other DApp platforms can steal some market share from Ethereum? So I just want to echo a little bit. I like what BitBoy said and everybody else. It's Chainlink's in the best spot of them all. It's partnered with everybody. It's multi-chain. Yeah. So if the question was Ethereum, can it get to a certain point? Man, that just depends about fees and the other DApp platforms nipping at its heels. But Chainlink, at least for this cycle, in my opinion, it has competitors, but it's positioned itself very well for the next 6 months.
Yeah, that's a great point. And something you mentioned there is something I feel like a lot of people forget, especially us that are in this all day, every day, looking at the tech, looking at these different projects. You said in a bear market, things are a lot more technically driven and use case driven, and what the project does really matters. We're getting to the point in this bull cycle where it really is all about hype, speculation, and what's hot today, what's happening on TikTok, what's happening on Reddit, and, leads us right to the next question, which is Doge. There's nothing that's been hotter in the past couple weeks probably than Dogecoin. Everybody's talking about it. It's pumping like crazy. We've got Elon Musk going on SNL this weekend. A lot of people are assuming there's going to be at least 1 or 2 skits about Doge. So the question is, will it pump on SNL? Will it dump beforehand? We were kind of talking about this morning on the live stream, like, does everybody are they buying the rumor this week? It pumps up and they sell it Friday. Will it pump Saturday night right after the show and then dump the next day, or just keep going up past the dollar? So twofold question. Can it hit $1? Would you hold it and would you sell it? We'll start back with Austin.
Dogecoin, we've already seen the pump. Okay. Much wow, Elon is king, he is CEO. Yeah. We've seen it. Now, in my opinion, I own no Doge. And by the way, hats off to the Doge army. They saw something I didn't. Ever since the Wall Street bets fiasco, it's been pumping. Yeah. But in my opinion, there are 2 types of Doge holders. There's the Doge holders that will sell before Elon Musk says his first word of the monologue. Mm-hmm. And then there's those Doge holders that'll be holding after SNL already starts. In my opinion, one's a smart play, one's dumb. I'll leave it up to you. I think the question that we have to ask is, why is Doge pumping? It's because for some reason, somewhere, the TikTokers, the Reddit army, they don't want to play with the old system. They say a big F you to the old system. They want to use their own money, and they chose Doge as a pump and dump. And I say that respectfully. I think people should be able to pump and dump what they want. A big portion of that, I think, is unit bias, meaning that if one Doge equals at the same market cap but equaled $1,000 each, I don't think Robinhood would care. I think they'd find something else. Mm-hmm. Like Bitcoin offers the same I would say better fundamental values than Doge, yet Doge has a smaller price, and for some reason, people love good meme. So I think it will pump, and I think it'll dump.
I would agree. What are your thoughts, Wendy?
So what we're seeing with Dogecoin is actually pretty unprecedented. I actually posted on Twitter a while back. It was in regards to XRP. And I said masses and retail will purchase XRP over Bitcoin. And people got really, really mad at me. And my logic behind that is people see Bitcoin and they see an asset that is trading at around, $55,000 to about $60,000. And the average person is like, I can't own a whole Bitcoin. I can't afford it. So price does have something, and it impacts us psychologically. So when we're talking about a large group of people, poor, middle class, lower middle class, that have enough money to buy maybe 100,000 Dogecoin or, maybe 50 Dogecoin or 1,000 Dogecoin, that's like that's like they made it. I've talked to people that have bought cryptocurrencies that were like maybe like 10 Satoshis, and they bought like 1 million of them just so they're like, I can own 1 million of this. And a lot of times we don't really take that into consideration. So what we're seeing with Dogecoin is we're seeing people hold it and invest in it, not because they want to make money, but because of the aesthetic, because it allows them to feel part of a community. It allows them to feel part of, everybody goes to wherever you're going these days with the panorama, but they're like, oh my God, I've got Robinhood. I've got, this on, I bought Dogecoin. Oh, you bought Dogecoin? I bought Dogecoin too. So really not looking at it from a technical standpoint. I mean, I can do technical analysis on this thing all day, but I feel like it is going to dump, but the dump might not be as big as what we expect, because people that are buying Dogecoin, they're buying $25 to $100 worth for the aesthetic, not for really anything else. So as far as back to your question about Elon Musk, on Saturday Night Live, people like myself that have moonbags of Dogecoin that got in at 40 to 50 Satoshis, we're probably going to take profit around $1, remove some of that again. But for some of the other people, they just might not be interested in selling. It's literally for the aesthetic.
Yeah. No, great answer. Max, what are your thoughts?
I don't own any Dogecoin, and yeah, I mean, I agree with everyone. I think the general consensus in the community is that what the hell is Dogecoin doing?
Right.
What does it do there? But I think it's almost like the original NFT without being an NFT. It's let's hold it for the sake of holding it, so that we can say we hold it, even though we can't do anything with it. So yeah, look, I think eventually its time will expire. I don't know if that is going to happen around the time of Elon's appearance on SNL. But I think broadly speaking, look, you could argue that with a big pump and dump like this, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, so it's kind of a wash. But I think what we see the immediate attack in the cryptocurrency space with the environmental concerns over Bitcoin, and I think if there's a lot of people who get really hurt with Doge because then it's just something else the media will jump on top of to try and hurt the cryptocurrency space. So I hope it doesn't pump too much further than it is now. I hope it kind of settles down. But I think it's probably got a little bit more to go.
Yeah, good answer. Ben, I know we talked about it a little bit this morning. Do you want to chime in real quick on this one?
Yeah, is anybody on Wi-Fi?
No, we're off. We're off.
Everybody's off the Wi-Fi. I don't know, did everybody hear me yelling about that?
Yeah.
Guys, here's the thing. I had to reference that. When it comes to Dogecoin, I'm pulling up CoinMarketCap right now while we're speaking. I just want to check out, see where the price is right now. Right now it's coming at 54 cents. No, it's 62 cents right now. So
Wow.
It got all the way up to 69 cents, I think, earlier today. And, when you look at Dogecoin, Wendy makes some really great points because as much as we try to coach people into understanding that price doesn't matter, like the literal price of a coin doesn't matter. It's the amount of the market cap and the potential for how many X's that can go that's realistic based upon all the money in the world that flows into this market. But it doesn't matter. Like, especially when you look at a lot of the people that are investing in this, they're putting money, the TikTok generation, the Gen Z generation, they're looking at this as just a pure way for them to make money. They don't care what's behind it. I think there's a powerful message there. But these people, they just want the lowest price coin. So I don't know. I'm starting to look now, and I'm starting to wonder, could something like VeChain be the next Dogecoin, right? It's actually the cheapest coin, I believe, in the top 20. So I'm kind of looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what next. We're seeing Ethereum Classic pumping because it's on Robinhood, and that's another place people are putting money because why? Back to price. You look at Ethereum. How much is Ethereum right now? $3,400, $3,500. How much is Ethereum Classic? I actually don't know the answer to that question.
$94 approximately.
$94. And they're saying, oh, man, that's, 31 times lower than the price of, or 35 times lower than the price of Ethereum right now. What a good opportunity. They just don't understand that it's totally different. So I think even for us that have been in the space for a long time, I think there's like kind of some investment tips, tricks, cheats, hacks that we can kind of look at in this maybe for what the next coins to move like this are. But I fully anticipate Dogecoin getting very close to $1 over this week. As asinine as it sounds, we're just at Wednesday. We've seen what it's done since, I bought it at 36 cents thinking like, man, I cannot believe I'm actually buying this at 36 cents. And I've like doubled my money on it, almost. So that was just last weekend. So I think as it leads up to Saturday, I think it will approach $1. I think at least 80 cents or something like that. So I'm certainly going to be looking to take profits, but I'm going to try to look at this and figure out what can I roll those profits into that might be the next Dogecoin. Because after this weekend, I mean, I don't think, as somebody put in our chat this morning, I don't think there's going to be a secret Dogecoin clue dropped in Saturday Night Live. That's what some people are anticipating. So it's all a little unrealistic, and it's kind of just a big mockery of the, entire financial system is what it is.
Yeah, and it was a good point you made there, Max, where you kind of compared it to NFTs, where it's like it's the fun factor and it's the aspect of holding something. It kind of like Wendy said, you have a lot of something. You can say I have a million Doge, or I'm a Doge millionaire. Like that. That's fun for people to say and to get involved. So it is an interesting peek at the psychology of kind of the new age of the young investor, so to speak. But to go kind of a 360 or a 180, I guess, a opposite direction. We're talking hype, we're talking bull markets. Let's talk a little bit about what could potentially be a catalyst to end this bull run. Like, some people think it's going to go on forever. We're in a super cycle. We're up only from here. We saw yesterday when the Fed just hinted at the fact that they were going to pull back on the rates a little bit. Maybe we won't print infinity amounts of money forever. Instantly, we see the stock market correct, and then we see that reflected in other markets like the cryptocurrency market. So I'd be interested to hear from Max and you guys, like, do you think that when the U.S. comes out and says we can't do unlimited quantitative easing forever, we can't just keep raising these numbers of stimulus and print trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars forever, we're going to have to hike the rates up a little bit more, do you think that could cause a stock market crash, a slight dip, correction, or what do you think could be the catalyst that would turn this super bullish market into somewhat bearish? Or do you think all of the money will flow out of the stock market and cryptos just go forever? Max, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, any little hint of raising interest rates, turning the printing presses off, will be absolutely devastating for all markets. Mm-hmm. My investment thesis is there's really only two things worth owning right now. It's cryptocurrency, because it outperforms everything else. If they keep printing, everything goes up. The cryptocurrency goes up more than anything. So hold cryptocurrency. And then your alternative is, okay, well, what if my thesis is wrong and they raise interest rates, they stop printing, they whatever, in which case everything goes down, you need some cash as a reserve. In that environment, I think the US dollars will do very well, where they stop printing and everything else. The crash happens, markets all around the world deleverage, and there is a flight to a perceived safe haven. I don't think the US dollar is that safe, but it's a perceived safe haven, and all the money comes rushing back into US dollars, and that means a deleveraging across all the different asset classes right across the world. So when they do this, I've seen them do this over the years. They're testing the waters, and the mere pretense that they may one day consider stop the printing presses, immediately the market reacts and says, no, F you, not tolerating it. Yeah. Like, it's not going to happen, dude. So I don't think they can do this. History shows us that given the tough decision of doing what they should do, which is to turn the printing presses off, allow the market to do its thing, and liquidate the debt and the devastation that is, it's a tough decision, but it's a prudent decision. They take the weak option and they just keep printing. And they will keep printing and keep printing and keep printing until the currency is absolutely destroyed, which is extremely, extremely bullish for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
What about, do you think any scenario where Peter Schiff's happy and gold outperforms any of these other markets?
The only time that gold would outperform Bitcoin is in a very, very down market. So my thesis is, if in a catastrophic event where it gets triggered somehow and the cascade happens and the world markets deleverage, Bitcoin and gold get smashed brutally, probably Bitcoin more than most. But the signal that what will happen on the other side of that is that Bitcoin and gold will lead us out of that recovery. Real estate, stock market will stay very, very weak for a very long time, but the cryptocurrencies and gold will be the ones that lead us out.
Great point. Austin, what do you think?
Great perspective from Contrarian Dude. I am going to sort of piggyback off that, and like, people like to say that Bitcoin is uncorrelated from traditional markets, and the truth is, from my POV, is that just this year, or just in the last 12 to 18 months, maybe on the longer time frames, we are starting to see a bit of decoupling. But in the shorter time frames, if the stock market tanks, it's bringing everything down with it. Gold is being brought down with it, just like the 2007-8 financial crisis. Now, the question is, where's the money going to go after that? I think that one, in terms of when Bitcoin's going to bottom, when Bitcoin's going to top, one of the cool things about being in cryptocurrency is that it's all programmable. We don't have to guess. We can look at the charts. We can take our best guess and look at the on-chain data. I know I've seen it on Ben's channel, on Wendy's channel. We do it all the time at Altcoin Daily, where nobody's saying we can predict what's going to happen. But you can see the on-chain data, and it'll tell you, okay, here's the actual amount of hodlers. Here's the new, not just wallets, but entities being created. So that's something that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin has that traditional markets don't. So obviously, if the stock market crashes, everything is being taken down with it. I would be most scared for the newer altcoins. I think Bitcoin will survive. Ethereum has a great chance of surviving. But other than that, it would just be a waiting game. So maybe we can build up liquidity 18 months, 2 years later, rebuild and get into a bull market.
Yeah, great point. Mr. Armstrong, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point that was made there about altcoins surviving. I kind of don't see it that way. I mean, I think I think it's very similar to what we saw in 2017, which we had all these brand new projects coming in at the end, and they just came for cash grabs, and so there was no money left, and so that most of those went away. But if you really look at the majority of our projects right now that are doing well, a lot of those were around in 2017. So I don't think we're going to – I think probably most top 100 coins, outside of the ones that kind of just like rotate in real quick and disappear, I think most of those will probably be okay. I mean, even if you look at CoinMarketCap right now, we have a total of 9,600 coins. If you were to say, that 96% of coins would go away, I mean, that'd still leave us with almost 400. So most of your major coins, I think, are going to be fine. Now, coming back to the question about what's going to happen with this bear market, I've always said that I believe this is going to end with a stock market crash. I think that is going to happen. The funny thing is, it really started with a stock market crash, if you go back to March. And now I think it is going to end with that. It's just a matter of time. They're going to keep printing money, but there's going to hit a break-even point where the stock market is going to have to fail. I mean, very similar to what we saw. It might be led by a housing crash or something like that. I don't know the ins and outs of what's going to happen, but that's the thing that makes the most logical sense. Everything is going to get crushed. And then we're going to be at a really interesting spot in the world where we're looking at, is the dollar going to be the reserve currency? Can Bitcoin take over? And I think really what we could see is that'll be the narrative of the next bull run, which will be like actual, once again, I've said this a lot, actual use case, actual adoption, actual utility. I think in the next 4 years, that's what we're looking at. That's going to lead that cycle where we finally start to move away from the speculation and realize we actually need an overhaul of our entire financial system. And I think this crash eventually will lead it. But I also understand Max's point. I like to be contrarian with that dude, but I'm going to agree with him. I'm going to say that, I understand what he's saying. Like, the weak option for them is to just keep printing and just keep printing and just keep printing. And so, if they just keep printing for the next few years until it does get to the point where they can't do it anymore, then who knows? Like, maybe that could extend the bull market a little bit further. But I've always thought, I do think that either the crash of the housing market or the stock market will be what, by the end of this year, crashes the market.
Yeah. Wendy, what do you think?
So I have to kind of agree with everybody a little bit here, but I really liked Ben's explanation because, first and foremost, I also want to throw out there is a U.S. digital dollar that is coming. U.S. dollar will be like a cryptocurrency. It will be like a stable coin. And I think that they're currently looking into that. There's a lot of research. It's taken a lot of time. We are behind China. We are behind a lot of the Southeast Asian countries. But I do think that will happen. And it will probably happen after everything completely crashes, because I do not think that we will be able to sustain like this. And I also really agree with Ben on the next bear market coming when the stock market crashes, and whether it be from a housing market crash or whatnot, because once the government stops giving people money, to live, and there's not a whole lot of jobs available just because of the current state that we're in, people are going to panic sell their assets. They are going to sell cars. They are going to sell homes. They are going to sell Pokemon cards. They are going to sell whatever they can, just like they did in 2008 to feed their families. Right. A lot of people don't give the middle class the credit that we deserve, because they're just like, oh, I've got money and mommy and daddy's got money. I've got this, I've got that. But realistically, if you got kids and you got to pick between holding on to your Bitcoin or your Dogecoin and feeding your family, you're selling your crypto. Bitcoin. You're selling whatever it is, you're selling it. Well, You know what? Just me as a mother, I'm selling my crypto to make sure my kid eats, make sure my family eats. So I really believe what Ben said about that. It makes sense. And we just don't know when that's going to happen. I think we just kind of have to watch the stock market. We have to pay attention to to the money printing. And back to what Altcoin Daily said about, tracking the wallets and focusing what's on Glassnode. I think that that's important too, because everything's transparent. It does give us an edge. So I do think it's a good idea for people to always start hedging. A lot of the profits I'm putting into stable coins, anticipating for that crash, whether it's tomorrow or in a year or 2 years from now, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah. Great point. And really kind of to bring it back full circle, it was very much kind of like what Max was saying. When everything hits the fan, cash is king. Everybody's going to be moving back to cash because everybody doesn't know what's going to happen next. So you want to be ready to move in any different direction. So great answers. So we're running a little short on time here. Let's do some real quick kind of a lightning round here. So today we saw the New York Giants partnered with Grayscale to be the official custodian for that entity, the Giants. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Do you think this will start to become a trend across the NFL where we start to see other major market teams want to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, maybe offer salaries in Bitcoin where they're really actually paying out in Bitcoin, not just putting it through a service like BitPay? Because we're seeing a lot of athletes ask about stuff like this, and it's starting to become kind of a pop culture thing now, so it becomes good marketing and good branding to be associated with Bitcoin. We saw that a lot with MicroStrategy. Tesla was able to get a lot of free press out of their association with Bitcoin. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Do you think NFL as an organization and NFL individual team owners are going to jump on this bandwagon? We'll start with Ben, since he loves football.
I do love football. It is so good. What's interesting is that, a lot of people know, because they watched the stream this morning. We had a call with an NBA team today, and about crypto and NFTs and blockchain, and it was extremely fascinating. They're up on this. I was surprised at how much they knew about what's going on in crypto. I think the question a lot of them have is this still going to be hot? Is this still going to be around in a year from now? So they're wanting to capitalize on the here and now. We've already seen in the NFL, we've seen a lot of conversations about is Chili's going to partner with them, or Ecomi for NFTs. We've seen the NFL send out a memo to all of their organizations about NFTs, giving certain rules. These organizations, they've got rules about what the teams and the individual players can do. We've also seen Trevor Lawrence just partner with Blockfolio. We know Russell Okung got paid in Bitcoin. There's a lot of moving parts here, and I think that we are going to see like more adoption from and more like embracing of crypto by these organizations. Because if you look back at 2017 and what happened and how a lot of people got hurt, obviously at the end of the market in 2018, but now with is in the public eye as that was, all these people can look back and see like, okay, even though it was a big bubble and it went down, it was part of the cycle, it's still way above where it was back then. So I think people now can kind of start looking more longer term and doing the math on that. And I think we are going to see a lot of, athletes have always been, pretty cutting edge, and they have a ton of money, and they get a lot of it at one time when they sign contracts. So it's very easy to see that a lot of, athletes are going to want to take advantage of this.
Yeah, Austin, what are your thoughts?
I think this is bullish. This is bullish. I want to give it up. This is the adoption that we were only talking about the first 10 years of cryptocurrency's existence. This was what dreams were made of when the headlines and the mainstream media were just slandering cryptocurrency as it's only used by criminals. Now, 12 years later, for Bitcoin, and now one of the most prominent cryptocurrency companies is partnering with the New York Giants. Now, me, I'm from Cleveland originally, now in Los Angeles, so I got to give it up. I'm waiting for the Browns. I'll go any sports team, but for the Giants partnership, this is what I question, and maybe I'll give it to Ben or Wendy or the Contrarian Dude, but I say this lovingly, that I think that the Giants are going to notice the influx of people more from crypto people rather than crypto people are going to see the Giants fan base coming to crypto. I think it'll happen. I'm just saying that it's sort of a no-brainer right now that these sports teams, I hope they believe in crypto, but just the acceptance and getting sort of the fan base of people that have money, they want to spend it, they like their favorite sports team, that all that commerce hopefully is going to go now in the New York Giants Stadium and set a precedent for other major athletic associations. So I like it.
Cool. Wendy, what do you think?
So I actually want to take a different approach to this. Yes, this is amazing for mass adoption. This is amazing because if you look at the demographic of people that are interested in sports, but I want to take this a step further and just really talk about how bullish this is. Currently in the United States, we have a lot of gray area in regards to cryptocurrency, how to pay taxes on it. If you are paid in cryptocurrency, how does that work if price ends up going up or price ends up going down? So I think the fact that we're seeing people with money, the football players, I think the fact that we're seeing them want to be paid in crypto, want to be paid in Bitcoin, this might actually low-key help legal bodies create some sort of guidelines that make it more acceptable to accept crypto as payment. Because right now, let's face it, if you're making minimum wage, $10 an hour, whatever it is, and you're at home with mom and dad, however it works, and you want to take half of your salary in crypto, how do you pay taxes on that? Are you taxed on the gains? Are you getting charged those capital gains and you have to pay those? So the average person is not going to be interested in that. But I think if we're starting to see more and more like large names, especially in the sports industry, taking crypto as salary, hopefully I'm thinking that this is going to push our local governments or whatever to give us more than just a gray area and give us real guidelines to make this an actual reality for most people, especially the underdogs, especially the middle class, especially the lower middle class, so that we can get some guidelines as to what's happening. Because I know people would love to get paid to take their 401k in Bitcoin or whatnot, but it's just the tax implications are not really clear, and it's hard for the average person to understand.
That's a great point. And that was something that was interesting to me too with this happening in New York, which is one of the hardest, one of the most stringent regulatory states on Bitcoin. So I think that's a great point. They're going to be forced to kind of get their hands around this and figure this out for the future. So did you have any quick thoughts on that before we close, Max, or Contrarian Dude?
Just it's just data point number 1,227 this month of the maturation of the cryptocurrency space. Just every day, there's just more and more. We're going to be going more and more mainstream. The idea of players actually taking their salary in cryptocurrency is a fun idea. I'm not sure if they're actually hodlers. I think more when the more the drug dealers, the hookers, and the domestic violence defense attorneys are actually hodlers, then the money will eventually flow into strong hands, and we might see a little impact the price there in Bitcoin.
Yeah, interesting take there. All right, well, that's all we've got for today. Join us next week. We'll have a lot of different guests and a lot more fun. Really appreciate all you guys joining us here today. We'd love to have you guys back in the future. If you guys are watching at home and you have questions that you want to see us discuss, or maybe other guests you'd like to see on the show in the future, send us an email to atbshow@bitboycrypto.com. If you like the stuff we talked about today and you want to see more of this style in this format, please smash the likes for us. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.